Hello friends, welcome to the video number 2 for the Python 3 basic series. And well, in this video we're gonna talk a little bit more about the Python shell, the print function, and the type function. And I want to talk to you about those two functions because we're gonna be using them quite a lot, especially the print function in, well, basically probably every upcoming tutorial. And so, well, it is very important to get to know the function and get acquainted with it, get familiar with it. So, well, in the previous video, we downloaded and installed Python in our computers, and actually we added these shortcuts to the Windows Start menu, and also here to the taskbar. So let's just start Python IDLE, or the Python shell. And well, here you can see Python shell tells you the version of Python that you are working with. This, in this case, is 3.7.3. And well, you can actually type this help, copyright, credits, or license to get more information. For example, let's do a help, and it tells you type help with parentheses for interactive help, or help and an object for the help about the object. So if we do help, we get this information, and well, we can go on typing modules, keywords, symbols, or topics. um, oh, quit, we can just type quit, and well, we get the prompt. I'm gonna close this to clean the IDLE, or well, the Python shell. And well, let's get into it. Python shell basically can be used like some kind of like a sandbox, or a place where we can play with some simple things to just to see what it's Python gonna do when I give it a certain instruction, right? So instead of going directly to my script and put it in a definitive file, again, I can just open the shell, put the instructions, or a very small piece of code, and see what it does. So we can play with it around a little bit, and well, without committing the changes in our code, in our definitive script. Um, so now let's start with the print function, and I think we saw it in the on the first video. But well, it's something just like print. One very important thing is if you use capital letters, you see it stays in black, so it's not recognized by the shell. If you put it with lowercase, it turns purple or violet or whatever that color is. So it's telling you, or Python shell is telling you, that that is a reserved word and that it is actually a function. Now every function needs to have parentheses on it. Uh, we're gonna talk more about functions later, but well, inside the parentheses, what we're gonna be placing is what is called the arguments or the parameters of a function. In this case, the parameters is basically what we want Python to print. So the probably the very first example that every programmer does is the hello world program, or well, statement. So there it is. Python returns to you hello world. Uh, we're gonna talk later more about strings, but you can do print, and you can use single quotes. So it's the same thing. We can do a print and I don't know, the number 3, and of course we can do a print, but we're gonna print the number 3 but within quotes. It's very important that you spell it correctly. Again, I didn't look at the screen, but if you look at your screen and it's black, again, it means that Python shell is not recognizing that thing that you are writing there. So of course this is a syntax error, I misspelled the word. Um, Now later we're gonna talk much more in depth about variables, but a variable is basically a placeholder or a container for information. So I'm gonna create a variable reading, and it's gonna be just hello, right? So I can tell Python, okay, print greeting, and I get hello. And well, this is gonna be very very important because again, probably in every video that we do, we are gonna see that we wanna see the result of a piece of code that we are writing. So a very common technique is just print it on the screen and see what your variable contains at that particular moment in your program, so you can see if you are going good or something is wrong happening. Something wrong, yeah, is happening in your program or your script. I can say, okay, another variable number 3, and I can say print number, and well, of course, it's gonna tell me the number is 3. Okay, so pretty simple, the print function. Now let's do the type function. Again, you can see it turns purple. It's a function, so it needs to have these parentheses. So inside of the parentheses goes the arguments or parameters. Well, let's say the arguments of the function. And let's say in this case I want to see the type of number 3. So it's telling me, okay, the class is an int or an integer. So this is an integer number, and I can do a type 3.0, and it tells me, okay, that's still a number, but this is a float. And I could do a type 3. It's going to tell me, of course, it's a string. Now you can see Python shell is giving me this hint. Every string turns green. So if you see that something is green, it's because it is a part of a string. Um, and one more type that I want to show you, for example, is I'm going to do true. Now again, you can see that it still, or it remains in black. So this means that Python is not going to recognize, right? I get an error. So is type with capital T is true. So it turns this kind of like a orange color, and it tells me, okay, this is a Boolean type. All right, so well, basically that's it for the type and print function. Just one more thing about the Python shell. I mean, you can do some a little bit more complicated things. It doesn't have to be this simple. You can do, and let's do a very simple example. Let's do a for n in range 10 print n, and there it is, right? So this is an example where I'm practicing the for loop and how to create a range, and then there is a print function again. So I see, okay, this is the effect that I'm gonna get. Oh, you know what, that's not what I want. I don't want to get from 0 to 9. I want to actually get from 1 to 10, so that you can play with it a little bit instead of having to commit this um, piece of code into your script, which there is nothing bad with it, but again, there are gonna be some times where you just want to open the Python shell, make something very quick. You see that it works, and then you put it in your script. Okay, so well, that's basically it for this video. And well, as always, thanks all of you for watching. I hope that you found this video useful. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and well, I hope to see you on video number 3.